Welcome, everyone, to the Cup of Coffee podcast with me, your host, Tom Dillon. This has been recorded live. It's our weekly online meeting and broadcast around the world. Today's topic is Project Rux-Ann with Ed the Developer with Edward Agwazia. Before we start, I'd like to say by way of disclaimer that today is a wonderful discussion, but that nothing said here constitutes financial advice. You should always take professional advice before investing your hard-earned cash. There may be the odd unplanned swear word along the way as well. The format today is that Ed will speak to us for a while, and then we'll be taking some questions from the floor. So get those ready if you're here. Edward Agwazia is an Italian property aficionado, which means he loves learning and he's enthusiastic about property. To be honest, he's enthusiastic about everything, but that'll become clear in a minute. He defines himself as the holy trinity of property, as he is the property investor, the property carpenter, and the residential surveyor. Amen. This reminds me very much of this whole thing put me into mind of two things. One is AI, that clearly wrote this. But
Ah,
two
come
is
on.
no, you're right. It would have been better if it had. But then, but also it put me in mind of if you haven't checked out Ronald James Reed on Wikipedia, that's well worth checking out. The first line of his Wikipedia entry is famous and it's probably my favorite of all time. It reads, Ronald James Reed, October 23rd, 1921 to June the 2nd, 2014, was an American philanthropist, investor, janitor, and gas station attendant. He was a guy who worked very simple low-level jobs, but followed very good financial rules. And so when he died, he was worth about £6 million, despite the fact he'd just worked his entire life at fairly low-level sort of blue-collar jobs. So I'm not quite sure why your bio reminded me of that one, but
Yeah, I don't see the connection either, but I'll look
yes.
it up though. I'll look it up. Yeah, yeah.
Have you got £6 million? That's what everyone wants to
Nah,
know.
that's the thing.
Not
That's
yet.
the thing. Nah, nah. That's why I need to read it then.
Yeah, okay, that's a different thing. Edward, over to you. We're looking forward to him. We got to share with us, and then, as I say, we'll have some questions. Over to you, sir.
Right. Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, for that amazing introduction. I'm almost moved by it. So thank you very much. But jokes apart, I really appreciate for the opportunity that you gave me today, to speak in front of you guys. And I will be obviously explaining how the session is going to be. Obviously, I'm a 90s baby, so I might do a little bit of jokes, so I'll try and keep it professional as possible. But I'm not really updated with the new jokes rules, and so I might offend some people. So please do not come out of my screen and give me some Will Smith treatment. But yeah, so quickly, just I'll be explaining about my personal story, how I find my purpose in property, my motivation, obviously, my flying wheel, and I'll give more light on that. I'll be speaking about obviously the property, why I chose it, the issue that I encountered with the property, and obviously how we fix them, and the main reason why we're here, numbers, and obviously what's going to be next in the life of the developer. Um, Having said that, who is Ed the developer? Before a developer, there was an Ed. And to know about who is Ed, we need to go back all the way to little Ed in Italy. For those people asking, um, wow, there's black people in Italy? Yes, there are black Italians out there. A great question. The, the main reason is because my parents migrated from Nigeria to Italy, and they decided to have me in an amazing country as Italy. By the way, Italy is an amazing country, highly recommended. Great wine, great food, great looking people. But at the same time, we have some a little bit of issues, especially for people like me or immigrants over there, especially in the community. We got loads of racism still going on in there, and at the same time growing up with a single mom, although she did an amazing job as a mother, and later on my stepdad joining the family, you still got like a sense of rejection, based on the situation, from the other side of the family and also with the community. So sometimes, let's be honest with ourselves. We got some good looking races sometimes. You try to you try to impress them, you try to be that person that is trying to save the face of everyone that looks like you. So sometimes you tend to do things overboard. You tend to do things that might put you in some dangerous and humiliating situation. And that was me. That's why I kind of, growing up, I developed this sense of being a people pleaser, trying to please everyone, never say no, always saying yes to everything. And and it came to a point. It came to a point where I was. I decided to, you know what, let me do it my own way. Let me do it myself. So I decided, instead of following the route of going to uni, I decided to step down from uni. And for an immigrant, not going to uni in Italy especially is a big deal, because it's like expected to be like the gate to success. If you go to uni, you'll definitely be successful. And by not doing that, I had little bits of issues. But luckily enough, I met my missus. My missus introduced me to this amazing book, which is Rich Dad Poor Dad. And that kind of started my entrepreneurial life and mindset. That helped me a lot to find some ideas to become great even without going through uni. I started loads of businesses. Most of them I failed them, but the most successful one I would say is Ace Up Accessories. Ace Up Accessory was it was like an e-commerce business that I did it. And the only reason why I say successful is because I started it and finished it all the way through. But after a few months, I got banned on Facebook, and that kind of gave me some sense of defeat and disappointment, because obviously with the money that I put in, the time and energy, got banned after 2 months of running it. It's a little bit sad, right? So for that reason, um, I was a little bit put off, but at the same time, I was still saving money to get into the real estate. And bear in mind, I was still in Italy then. The plan was still to invest in Italy. That was my plan, as a retirement long term, type of. Oh yeah, we buy properties because we don't trust the bank, because that was the philosophy of that book. But at the end of the day, I decided to come into the UK just before Brexit, run away, jump inside before they closed me out. And when I came to the UK, I was amazed by the diversity that was there. So it was a totally different story from what I was used to see in Italy. I start seeing, like, ladies with hijab working at the airport, something that I've never seen in Italy. And I'm like, if they see like a lady with an hijab in at the supermarket, they might ring the NATO saying, oh, there might be a terrorist attack there. And obviously when I came to this country, I was like, wow, there's so much diversity. You can be whatever you want, basically. And obviously I saw this program, which was almost under the armor, and I'm like, wow, everybody does well in this country with properties. It looks like, you just buy a property in auction, do it up, and you sell it, and you make your money. And I'm like, oof, this country, I think, is the right place to invest in. But obviously, I had that Dunning-Kruger effect, that the more you know, it feels like you don't know nothing. So I'm like, I need to find myself a course where, I can protect myself, because, the anxiety, that sense of, one little information, I'm like, oh man, you get confused, you don't really know where to start, you get like that paralysis. So when I enrolled in this course, which is Asset Academy, which I would say is a good course. But obviously, my own personal opinion, everyone is entitled to their own opinion. But I think all these courses are too overpriced. Well, don't quote me on that. Well, anyways, and that's my situation in the UK. Obviously, in my experience in business, the UK has taught me some major things. He has taught me how to handle rejection, how to be accountable of my actions, and and start playing the victim mentality on some certain things. Allowing life to wave you around, but sometimes try to go through the trajectory. And he always taught me how to improve at least 1%, 1% every single day, which is my motto, not giving up. And, I'm super grateful to this country. So if the king is watching this, please remember. And, but yeah, but at the same time, we need to understand that having that sense of not giving up, yes, it is important, but at the same time, knowing our limitations and knowing the power of delegation as well. I'm not really good at this. How can I connect with people that can do the job a little bit better? And that kind of brought to a place where I'm not trying to please people anymore. Um, and using that same skills that I was using to shield as a protect and to protect myself and my emotions, like being a joker, to be like a comedian of the day, trying to do way too much, using that same skills instead of being a people pleaser, using that skill to create strong and meaningful connections. And that's what I would say I've learned in the last 3 years, in the property game. And as a good, I won't say citizen, but person that lives in the UK for now. But yeah, so having said that, the question is, why am I actually doing this? Um, is it family? I would say yes, it's family. Is it to prove myself right? Yes. But the most important thing is myself. I'm doing it because I decided to. I'm doing it because I see myself as a property investor. This is the type of lifestyle that I like. I love this lifestyle, to be honest, and that's what I'm doing. And the amazing, the rap of, I'll probably say the best rapper alive, Eminem. I am whatever I am. His quote. Yeah. So as I said before, I could either cry about it and be the victim and say, no, yes, it's because it's that, or it's because of this, so I can't do this, or do something about it. And that's the road that I decided to take. Do something about it. Having said that, let's get into property. Enough with the TED talk and with the emotional side. But let's talk the main reason why. Yeah, this is Project Rux-Ann, which is the property that we bought in Newton Le Willows. Um, why the name Project Rux-Ann is basically is dedicated to two amazing women. Two women that inspired me the most, I would probably say, which is Rux-Ann, is my mother-in-law, and my aunt Anne, which they're both late now, but I just appreciate the strong will that they had, the tenacity, and while I was doing this project, I feel like I needed those type of inspiration to go through this moment of my life. So that's why I decided to dedicate this project um, to both of them. So a nice mixture together, Rooks and Anne, which is great stuff. Um, and obviously, going back to there, going back to the project, in order to get to this stage, 3 years of preparation, I would probably say. And the first preparation is like working with other investors. I had the opportunity to work with other investors. My first project was with Sam Watterson, and that was a project in Leeds. Another project that I did in the past was with Rebecca Karine, which was a project in Wigan. And working with them kind of helped me a lot to have a sense of, let me say, have a sense of reality, because some books property looks really straightforward. But when you actually do it in real life, you kind of understand the issue behind it, you kind of understand as well the time frames. And I would say to that helped me a lot to you know go smoothly, I'll probably say ish, but not have like a major breakdown with this property, I would say. And that's why I call it flywheel. I'll just read the definition. The flywheel effect happens when small wins for your business build on each other over time, eventually gain so much momentum that growth almost seems to happen by itself, similar to the momentum created by a flywheel in a rowing machine. So that's what I'm saying. Like, having that experience as an investor, also going to college to learn how to become a carpenter, and being a trainee surveyor as well. That kind of helped me to make some better decisions, and also having great connections and network that actually helped me out with this property project. Um, so I just wanted to put out there. Going back to the property, The property had so many issues, and as you can see, the property had loads of damp, had a lot of issues with missing tiles, condensation. Some windows needed replacing. Obviously needed some new kitchen, new bathroom. The property is old. Bear in mind that the property was an old Victorian house. Victorian period usually is around 1800. The pipe work system was quite old, so we had issues with pipe as well. So, but the question is, regardless of the issues and regardless of, you know, what I'll probably say put a lot of people off, which is the damp, I still decided to go for it. There's the room, obviously, because of the lack of ventilation, was in a terrible condition, and I still decided to go for it. And now the question is, why did I decide to go for it? It's mainly because of the location. The location was spot on. He had McDonald's, Tesco. Now I don't know if you've watched McDonald's movie, but I certainly know that McDonald's doesn't open McDonald's just for no reasons. So over there was already telling me something. These big players already telling me that this is a great location. Um, and also the transportation links, they were amazing because you had two train stations. You got the Hillstown train station, and you've got as well the Newton Willows train station, and it's just like 5 minutes drive to the M6. So 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 obviously it was good. The numbers as well make sense. We bought the property for 95 grand. I mean 95,000. So and the down value was going to be around 130, 140 ish. So for that reason, I was like, okay, there's some potential in this property, and obviously the floor plan. The main reason why I got into this property was to make it become an HMO. Now, while I was doing this, some harsh reality. First and foremost, I didn't have enough money for the HMO. I thought I did at the beginning, but the more you knew about all the regulation and all the stuff that needed to be done for an HMO, they were like, nah, there's nothing in there. And also one of the rooms, unfortunately, was too small. So we are nice people. We don't do illegal stuff here. So I decided not to go for it, and decided to go with the other options, which was going to be a flip. Um, having said that, obviously we came across some issues. I thought the majority of the job was going to be how to solve the dampness and to solve the condensation issue. But obviously, reality was way more than that. We had other issues going on. The first one was the time frame. It took us 2 months to finish the property. Now some people might say, yeah, well, that's quite impressive. Yeah, I agree. But I would say I could have done that even less if I, followed my instinct in project managing, because the way I was project managing it, I think I project managed it in the wrong way. So that's why it took me 2 months. Now looking back, I could have done better, and I could have saved me some time. That's what I would say. Obviously, I had a full-time job, so I was just working 3 days a week. But at the same time, I had so many tradespeople with other issues in life, trying to take in other projects, and that's what I'm saying. That's why another issue is the power team. It's always important to make our own due diligence. It's always important to make sure that if they got any events or plans that they've got at that moment, to stress them out, and making sure that they let you know how their life situation is, so you can understand if they can actually take on the project or not. Also, I would say to not get bullied by people that don't like signing contracts and start pressing around the fact that they have been doing this for 20 years. Like nobody cares if you've been doing this for 20 years. If you're putting off by signing a contract, then I don't know. It sounds fishy to me. Um, Now, and obviously another lesson is to try and keep everyone friendly. Um, I would say I did that very well, because you know they might take off a window and never come back, never come back, and that's a reality. You know, imagine having an argument with a trade person saying, "Oh, you're not doing your job properly." They will never come back, and before you start finding another one, that's another problem, another cost. So sometimes trying to keep the relationship as friendly as possible to the end of the project is the best thing. Um, and that's my personal um, experience. Um, Recommendations, recommendation is a plus. I think is a good thing to have recommendations. Sometimes it's even good as well to, if you find that the recommendation that has been given to you is not really good, to not be afraid to tell them, although he's my best friend, I recommend me to you. I don't feel like you're the right person to work, and not just take them because it's a recommendation. And that's my personal, again, experience. I found out that understanding the plan and understanding the project and trying to manage it myself is a great thing. Mainly because tradespeople have got this thing of speaking a lot in their own language, with their own terms, and sometimes get confused, and sometimes because of that confusion you just go with the with whatever they say, and it might cost you a little bit more. um Another things that could go wrong, I would say, is wrong timing and prioritization. you know an issue that I had, for example, is I painted the door before painting the walls. Not really smart, because it started raining white on a anthracite gray door. So that took me another day of recovering that. But we learn from our mistakes. So that's what I'm saying. Then obviously learning from the upstairs, coming to the downstairs was really smooth because we learned from what happened there. So and another thing is following my instinct. Now this topic is very interesting because I feel like sometime um being too humble could be dangerous. I could be, painful sometimes. And I will say that because, you know, oh, it's an estate agent. They know what they're doing. Now, before we signed the contract, I was really strict by saying, oh, I'm going to be getting I'm going to be getting a gas safety engineer to check that everything's working fine because the pipe and blah 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 blah. And the SHS was like, okay, yeah, that's fine, but we can't open the water. And I'm like, oh, well, why can't you open the water? Because it's been wind. It was during the winter, so the seller doesn't want to open the water. Fair enough. I'm like, okay. Nevertheless, I still need you to open the water because the gas safety engineer needs to come in. And obviously, they were like, a little bit of back and forth with the emails. Now, if I did follow my instinct, I knew that there was something wrong there. Now, obviously, I didn't follow my instinct. Still went through it. I'm, I'm now, and obviously, we had a massive leak after the exchange of contracts. Boom, this happened. Already painted kitchen. Already painted kitchen. After a few days of leaving the water open, a leak was coming out from the from the roof of the extension. And when we invited the plumber to have a look where the leak was coming from, because it's not visible, it's not you couldn't see where the leak was coming from by just poking your head up there, up the arch, if that makes sense. So when the plumber come up there, because obviously it was a wet area, he made that massive hole. So again, lesson learned, things that happen in real estate, um, you know, and life is good. We managed to fix it, and now is a better ceiling. better pipe work, and everything is running fine. Again, communication, coming back to problems with real estate, communication needs to be spot on, regular updates, and making sure that the instructions are clear and simple as possible. Now, this is some of the jobs that we did. Obviously, we repointed the ridge tiles, put some new tiles, added the parapet gutter for the water, new soffits, new vents on the roof, and all this was done to reduce the condensation. Because again, the main issue that we had in that property was the condensation. Not even damp. Penetrating damp was really in minor places, and it was in minor places, and it was just a matter of repointing the walls externally, finding out where the water was coming in from, and obviously we did some decoration in it. We decided to go for, we gave ours some life, basically making it look modern, by giving that theme of luxury, or probably, I mean, a luxury theme, by using anthracite gray type of finish on the doors and in on the on the details, and the kitchen. Obviously, we decided to go for black with amazing. It looks almost bespoke now. And the way I'm looking at it, wow, so good. Um, yeah, with a black matte finish for the cabinets, and with a worktop, a wooden worktop. Um, and yeah, that's pretty much it. But now we're here for the map, for the numbers. That's where the magic happens. That's where we're here for. It took us 2 months. It took us 2 months to finish the project. The gross development value, I mean, the market value is 140. We bought the property plus the stamp duty, 98 grand ish. And by the way, this is all gross. This is very inflated. The amount of money for the refurbishment was around 12 grand. And the main reason why we used 12 grand is because most of the job I did it myself. From the painting to fitting the kitchen. I had some help, obviously, but is being active was a good thing. Now, it's not as beautiful as it makes it look on Instagram. It is stressful, it is time consuming. But again, it's like, and by the way, no disrespect to pregnant women, yeah, is I understand that it's 10 times harder than doing a property project. But it's like holding a baby 9 months. You forget about before holding a baby. The before is hard. Holding it for 9 months is hard. After the 9 months, after delivering the baby, it's still hard. But as soon as you hold the baby, you'll be like, well, you forgot about everything. And you'll be like, actually, it's not that bad. Let's have another one. But, same with the property. Once I finished the property, I was like, wow, actually, it's not that bad. Let me do the other one. But when I get the flashbacks, I'm like, maybe I should relax a little bit. So we decided to flip it, obviously, because we'll be making some good return on investment, around 37.1%. And yeah, I'll probably say the major key is to keep that good relationship with the estate agents. Because if they like you, I think they will push and push and push and try to sell for a good price. If they don't really put any effort in selling the property. So yeah, obviously some offers has come in. We'll be waiting and see how we'll be going, and I will keep my best friends updated. Um, and that's pretty much it. That's the end of me. Thank you very much, guys. For anyone that was, for anyone that stayed to the end and was still listening to me, I can guarantee that you've got a place in heaven made of gold waiting for you. If you are asleep, if you fell asleep, no issues. I will torment you with some YouTube recording in the coming days. So
Yeah.
yeah. Obviously,
I think
what's
you're the
next
first
for me?
person to you're the first person to offer anyone a place in heaven as a prize for listening. Sorry, Ed, you were about to tell people your contact, I think.
No, yeah, I was just saying what's next for me. It's just like an iPhone user. It's the same phone but with a different name. I'll just become become a chartered surveyor. So, hopefully that's the plan, becoming a surveyor. So yeah, that's what's next. So thank you very much, guys, for listening, and God bless.
I like the way you did the end. I'll be honest, that's why I jumped in because there was a big slide there for those on the podcast. It said the end, and I thought, well, it's probably the end then. But no, then we're gonna do what's
Nah,
next.
yes, like Marvel.
No, yeah, no, yeah, well, okay, showing the what's coming up in the next film
Yeah, what's
sort of thing.
coming up after?
Nice, nice. Hangover 2 sort of thing. Um, I'll be honest, I was getting a bit nervous when you started talking about the pregnant women and how it was more difficult in
Ah,
childbirth. I thought, oh, here we go, we're gonna get some comments about this.
no,
But
I live with the feminists, so yeah, I'm really cautious with what I say.
but I think you pulled it round. I think you got us out you put us into and then got us out of a hole on that one. So well done. Um, uh, I think you should get out of this property stuff, which you kind of half have done, and get into making presentations. Because for those who are listening on the podcast, they're missing a treat. Because I thought the presentation was really nicely put together. I always think your stuff really looks really nice, much like the
Oh,
house.
thanks.
Hopefully the house is solid underneath, which I'm sure it is from what you told us. I think that might be the first Eminem quote we've had on Cuppa. And when you read it out, you misquoted it slightly. I think the quote was, "I am whatever I say I am," um,
All
which
right.
is if
Yeah.
we're going to have
Sorry,
an Eminem
Eminem.
quote, it's important to get it correct. It's written down correctly, but not for the podcast listeners. Yogesh was first in with a question. Let's get
All
straight
right.
on to listeners' questions. You see the chat's been going crazy there, Ed, but you leave that to me. I've made notes. So
Should I put it back to the property and numbers? What should I do?
go numbers because I want to ask a couple of questions about numbers at the
Yes.
end, and then we'll just stop the sharing. But for now, go numbers. While I ask Ed Yogesh's question, which is why did Yogesh being nosy as always? Why did they ban you from Facebook?
Yeah, it's good, great question. Oh yeah, so funny. They couldn't find the supplier, basically. Facebook couldn't verify the supplier that was supplying
Right.
the bags that I was selling. By the way, I was selling women accessories bags.
Mm.
Um, women accessories. No, it was not only bags, to be honest. It was, even bracelets, necklaces.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah.
interested in that, as you can imagine. Moving on then. What what did you mentioned you did a couple of projects with other investors, helping
Yeah.
them, obviously learning from them. And I wanted to get a bit more about what did you learn from them specifically. You implied that you basically learned that property is, while profitable, a massive pain in the ass.
Mm.
I wanted to ask, what did you learn that was a pain in the ass about it? What did you learn? Where you're like, okay, this isn't Instagram stuff, this is real life stuff, and maybe those two things are a little bit different. What specifically?
Yeah. I mean, for example, is already is planning. Because
Mm,
the first project that I did with Sam, it was like a conversion from a four-bedroom house to a six-bedroom HMO.
mm,
I was expecting, you just put on some walls and you carry on, but obviously you've got planning, you've got issues with the solicitors, and that drags away a lot of time. Obviously, to note, it was during COVID, so not the best time for anyone because you couldn't really do anything. So something that was supposed to be like maximum a year and a half took more, maybe 2 years and a half. So it's just interesting to know. Obviously, I wasn't really active in the project because he already had like a fully prepared um, power team. So I wasn't really doing much. I was just looking and do the
yeah,
marketing basically.
yeah.
But yeah.
It's all good learning, isn't it? Funny enough, I forgot to say, because I was busy with the Eminem quotes, I forgot to say that I really enjoyed your presentation. I thought it was really accessible. One of the reasons we had you on was because of our low budget. But the main reason we had you on was because I think it's great, genuinely great. Because one of the questions I get is, "Oh, what's it like doing the first one? How do you do your first project?" And I can talk about that, but because I've done a few now, first of all, you forget stuff, and second of all, like I'm sort of too far ahead. Not bragging, but like to explain to someone how to do the first one. I think getting someone on like you who's just done the first one, I think is really valuable because people are like they can see it's fresh, they can see you've learned stuff. So you feel to people who've not done any yet, very much like them, just started off. And so. So I think it's really valuable to learn from your experiences, like the one you just talked about with that. And I thought you what I wanted to ask was, you got involved with those other projects through those other investors, and my guess is from what you've said that you'd learned a lot from those projects. Is that something that you'd encourage others to do? Or you're just starting off trying to get from 0 to 1? That it's a good idea to get to try and learn from people who are doing it, get on site any way you can, to pick some stuff up like you did. Would you say that was a useful thing to do?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I will say that because first thing first, you've got that you kind of develop a skill of analyzing people.
Mm,
I guess when you're deciding to whoever you're working with, whoever you're going to hand up your money to, you're trying to be very, very analytical who you're going to be working with. So that is a skill that I would say is important, knowing who your mentor is, knowing, understanding who can actually give you some value.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not just giving it to my best friend because he's my best friend, but I'm giving it to someone that I think can actually bring some value in the long term. Um, and also the connections as well that they've got, so that you kind of you know, get release a lot of information on that end as well, connection wise. The network is so much important. I can't stress out how it was so um how it was so satisfying. Be like, oh, we got this issue, and I'm like looking up through my WhatsApp. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I've got someone. Or going to, for example, being part of the copper group. Like, oh guys, I've got this issue. Da 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 da. And someone is always there to help you out. So yeah, I think is first get yourself a mentor that can tell you the real hard truth and the story behind it. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, good. Excellent point. Ahmed makes the point. I think I've pronounced Ahmed's name correctly. Forgive me if I've not. He says, "Great location, has much potential," and he says, "2 months for the full refurb is unbelievable. I do it full time and couldn't do any faster." And I agree with that point. But having said that, you said that you felt you made some management mistakes on the project, which, by the way, for your first one is inevitable. And I mean
Hmm.
that I mean that for you, but for anyone else listening as well. Like, you're going to make some
Hmm.
mistakes on the first one. That's what it's for. But what would you different? What would you do differently if you did it again? What mistakes do you felt you made? Did you feel you needed to outsource more, or was it around something to do with timings? What mistakes did you feel you made?
No, I feel the mistake that I did was um not being very, very clear of what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Allowing myself to, I feel like sometimes not giving a good plan can be confusing sometimes.
Mm,
You want this, but it comes different sometimes. Not people really understanding what you're looking for that project. So I would say what I would do differently as well is better communication in expressing what I'm looking for, what I actually need, and maybe again due diligence, making sure that whoever I'm working with, they are all signed with different bodies.
mm.
For example, if someone doesn't give invoices, I don't like you. It's just the way I am. If, for example,
I don't give invoices. Do you not like me?
no, I don't like anyone, Tom. I don't like. Now, but again, like for example, electrician, plumbers,
Mm,
those people need to be signed for a body,
yeah.
where you can, if something happens, you can fall back to them. Well, there are some people that are not, and they start bragging about how they've been doing this for 25 years and blah, 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 and not get bullied as well, because sometimes you just want to accept someone because of the pressure that you've got. Well, I need to find someone, and they come out, and I will be like, yeah, listen. They start knocking on walls and start saying, oof, 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 me. You need damp proof course for this. And that was no issue. Well, it wasn't rising damp. It was just normal condensation. Um, so not getting bullied by that. But luckily enough, I didn't fall for the trap.
Good.
Yeah. So
Um, an excellent answer, and I think Isu's question might sort of link into this as well. She says, "Can you give a few more details about the contracts you were asking people to sign? Was that to do with the works they were doing?"
yes, yes, yes. It was more of where having a breakdown of what type of works they'll be going to be doing to the property.
Hmm.
And obviously how much money. deposit wise, if they're taking any, would they take? So like a fixed price, obviously. If something happens that it wasn't planned, who's going to pay for that? If there's any accident, am I the one with the duty of care, or is he the one with the duty of care? What type of basically what type of you know what type of issue could I encounter as well?
Yeah.
As a plumber, you need to know that there might be some issue with the plastering, maybe. I don't know, whatever. So, worst case scenario, who's going to fix that? So those type of things, yeah, I would say that's the contract.
How did you decide who would need a contract and who wouldn't? So I'll give you a stupid example on purpose. If somebody's going to come in and do maybe a £100 electrical test, that's a very low amount. I'm guessing you didn't need a contract for that sort of stuff. Meanwhile, if
Now,
somebody's going to come and fix the roof for £5,000, clearly that person would need a contract for you, and probably rightfully so. Yeah, how did you decide? Was there a level like over £1,000, or was it just on a case by case basis? How did you decide that?
yeah, I think it's case by case basis. And obviously at the beginning, I wanted to give contract to everyone, even if it was one
Right.
pound contract. You're my brother, contract.
Snickers bar
Yeah,
contract.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But after a while, I'm like, it's just 1 pound, it's just that. And even,
I've
changing
already
the
eaten the Snickers
stuff.
bar.
You
Yeah.
haven't really got the time to do all that, to be honest. But yeah, the bigger the job and the bigger the liability that could come with it, then in that case, I will definitely get a contract. Yeah. Yeah, like
Okay.
giving an
Mm.
example of the issue that I had with the ceiling, you know. Um, Supposing I didn't have a contract, he might say, "Listen, it's not my issue," and blah blah blah. And if we wanted it to take it to court, obviously I would not take it to court because the amount to repair it would have probably be less than what I'll be using, to solve the issue.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you kind of the message that you're sending to that person is, listen, I'm actually serious. You know, don't
Yeah.
mess with me,
Yeah.
type of person. Yeah, the
I'm,
Italian beat, the mafia start coming up in me
I'm
sometime,
gonna say I'm already nervous, and I've not even failed to do any
I'm a
work
nice
yet.
guy. I'm joking. I'm joking.
um, So, look, numbers. Some people, as you say, get very excited about the numbers, and rightfully so, right? This is where we make profit or fail to make profit. So let's just have another quick look at these numbers before we finish up. So, I'm aware people listening to the podcast, so we'll go through them as if for those people who can't see the numbers. So we've got a construction time scale of 2 months, which is impressive, by the way. We've got gross development value, which I'm going to take as the sort of sale value of the house, or the hoped for sale value of the house, at 140,000 pounds. Property PP purchase price
Yeah.
plus stamp duty, land tax, or SDLT. So that's the purchase price plus the mandatory tax payment is 98,000. So that means your total profit, if you were able to just buy and sell at that price, would of course be 42,000 pounds. But to put a bit of a fly in the ointment, we've got 12,000 pounds of construction costs. If you didn't do any work on that yourself, how much do you think your labour would have cost to get a skilled tradesman to do that work? Maybe 3,000, 4,000, less, more?
Um.
I know it's difficult to guess, especially on the spot, but
Yes, yes, yes. But again, it's not just if I give it to someone else, because is again the power of connections. Shout out to my all my Asian family out there. The amount of help that they have me out. Against with the supply of the bathroom. Um, what else did they? Yeah, supply of the bathroom. It it cost me way less than
it would have
what
done
I would
otherwise.
have
All
bought.
right, well,
Yeah, if I went to IKEA or B&Q, for example.
would have cost
Um,
more.
yeah, it would have cost more. So maybe because as well supplying it myself, that was good. Also the kitchen, I was able to have a good through the LMPG as well. I had good offers.
Shout out to LMPG.
LMPG,
They do
yeah,
good
yeah.
stuff. That's the
But yeah,
Landlord National Property Group for anyone listening.
mhm. If I give it to someone, I think it might have cost me around 20 or 25.
I was going to say 20. Okay. So even if you wanted to, and this is again trying to help other people who are thinking about similar projects, even if Ed had given this to someone else to do, because like me, he doesn't, well, like me, if maybe you don't want to get your hands dirty, then you'd have spent 98,000 on the property, including the tax, and then you'd have spent 20 on the refurb. So you'd have been in it for 118, and then you'd have sold it for 140, which means that you've made a £22,000 profit, which is pretty
I
decent,
throw
isn't it?
that away, innit?
Yeah, it's all right. So, professional fees. What are professional fees?
I like solicitors.
Okay.
Again, it's really, really gross. Yeah.
It's not that
Right.
disgusting. It's all right. So 5 grand is listed here. So your total costs yeah, plus five. So in this case, I'll go back to Ed's numbers. So 140 sale price, 98,000 purchase, 12 grand for the works because he did some of the work himself. Professional fees of 5 and total costs then of 114 with a projected sale of 140. Gives you a rocky a return on investment of 37.1%, which is pretty decent. I wanted to finish with a couple of things, a couple of quick ones. One which is again sort of trying to help people, especially those who are just starting out. Maybe you've got zero properties, like more or less all of us have to start with. What would you say to anyone just starting out on zero properties and trying to get their first one over the line? Whether that's a refurbishment to hold on to, or buy and hold, or whether it's like you to buy and flip to make some money, maybe for other projects in the future. What would be your takeaways from your experience, and would you suggest they do it and they crack on, or would you say they should think about do something else?
No, I'll say yes, do it. I'll probably say don't force it as well. You know,
Right.
do it. And by not forcing it, I mean like sometimes doing too much might cost you a lot, you know, and not only on the refurbishment side of things, but even the energy that you put, you know, like let's don't put yourself in debt just for the sake of starting the property. Don't get yourself like a 75 credit card loan just because I want to start property. You know, you need to be really
Yeah.
smart about it. Uh, Save as much as you can. Yes, out there you can start property with zero money in, you know, get 2 weeks course and then you become a millionaire. Yes, maybe. I don't know. For me, it didn't really work out. It took me 3 years. Um, 3 years, and to be honest, like six or 5 years of savings, you know, it just doesn't come up that easily and straightforward, you know, especially
Mm.
for people that doesn't have maybe like the like some inheritance money or anything like that. You know, you just have
Yeah.
to keep focus and go maybe instead of doing, you know, 4 nights out, maybe reduce it to one or two. You know, drink water instead of Coke. You know, no,
I
I'm
think yeah,
serious.
I think if I've learned one thing today, if everyone takes away one thing today, it's that we all need to start drinking water instead of go. This is a rare time where it crosses over between property investing and dentistry, isn't it? That's a
Yeah, yeah.
benefit for both your
No,
investment journey
yeah, yeah. Let's think
and
about it.
and
You
your
know, like
dentist bill.
a
Yeah.
bottle of Coke might cost us like £2. And one
Yeah.
bottle of Coke, and if you get like six crate of waters, you know.
Oh.
But all this is obviously is a metaphor. But what I'm saying is try to cut the expenses as much as we can. You know,
Yeah. I think
sometimes
today.
having
I
a
think.
BMW is
Mm,
not the thing that will get us to get a property. Maybe having like a smaller car might
yeah.
help us to save a little bit more. So yeah, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
what I'm saying.
I think this entire thing's been a metaphor, and one, of course, I don't claim to understand. So I think that's been my favorite thing about it. Meanwhile, in the comments, we've got Julie saying the house looks fab, and John saying thanks for sharing valuable learning, and so on. So some nice comments in the chat. I realize you mentioned at the end there you've taken after you'd finished, you then decided to tell us what you were doing, which is you've taken a sideways step into being a surveyor, which is happy days and still obviously involved in the property kingdom. But if people wanted to get hold of you, have we got any contact details? Are you like lying low now and pretending you
Yeah,
don't exist, or are you on social media or not really?
right. I'm trying to do both. I'm trying
Wow, that's a
to
tricky balance.
Yeah, I'm trying to lay low, but at the same time I'll be active on social media.
Wow,
Obviously I'll be showing my property, my property journey, what I'll be learning as well as a surveyor, and maybe some some tips out there. But I'm trying not to be active.
oh sure. Sure,
in
sure.
the property, and I swear it's like not being not seduced by a very good looking woman is hard. Because
Yeah.
imagine having this amazing property looking at you, great location, and no, I need to stay away from it. It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah. Well, no, I can imagine. I get women all the
But
time,
yeah,
obviously, in this.
the plan is to just focus on becoming a surveyor.
Yeah, I noticed that I think you're the first speaker as well. Many first today. You've got an OnlyFans account there. I don't know much about OnlyFans, but
No, that's
do you
just
get
to
naked?
yeah, viewing the property naked, yeah.
Wow, I think that's
Nah,
going to get a lot more views than this is.
nah, it was just to take people's attention.
Well,
That's
it's
what because
worked, hasn't it? I've noticed
people
it.
people never take seriously the QR code for some reason. I don't know why they never take it seriously.
A lot of people
Whenever
getting
they
down
see the
this
OnlyFans, they'll
QR
be like,
code.
oh yeah.
For those who are listening on the podcast and they're lazy, which is the best one to get you on? Is it the Instagram? Shall I read that one out?
Yeah, I would say the best one is Instagram.
Okay. So that's Instagram.com,
LinkedIn as well.
obviously, and then it's /ed_ed, the THE _developer. So Instagram.com /ed the developer with underscores. And I'll share the other contact details here with the podcast notes. Really appreciate everyone who attended today and people joining in, and especially, of course, a big thanks to the developer.
Thank you.